not seen JDG yet, and it just feels like all of these teams that were able to put themselves in such a great position in the regular split are just falling by flies, one by one.
One by one. Nice band to start us off, though, Lyric, as top esports on the blue side for game number 4. And the Lucian ban comes with so much respect, considering last game it took over.
And now I'm curious to see what ban do they change from game 2, because they banned Azir via Yuumi in that game. It looks like both off the table now. And now it's going to be left in such an interesting place in terms of what first picks we still have available. Like, obviously, Zeri still on the board. It's one of those things that you would expect to be able to come out. But beyond that, I wonder if we're getting into the pool of, like, things like Silas and these other champions really coming higher priority and just being able to pick those ones up outright. Sivir, another interesting pick that is still on the board.
We're going a very different direction, though, right? Like, Trundle Poppy, yes, but the Renata ban and Yuumi left open.
Oh.
Top esports first, Lyric. First pick Yuumi.
So now it pushes, do EDG just go with the Zeri here, and then you'll probably end up with like a Zeri and a Lulu against, you know, maybe a Sivir and a Yuumi on the opposing side. EDG can look to pick jungle here as well with the Zeri and just save the Lulu for later on in the draft, since TS already committed to their support pick. I just wonder where EDG go here, because, I mean, these are the 4 junglers that we kind of consider in that S tier, right? That we see pretty much every single day of the LPL. We highlighted the other ones earlier.
Yep.
Things like the Xin Zhao, things like the Viego. You also do always have, like, Sejuani open if you do want to opt into going like that double melee setup like we've seen LNG do a lot. But EDG say no. They're going to wait to save their jungle pick later on and just go straight for the Zeri Lulu that we talked about.
But that does mean TN gets priority in junglers. You already mentioned the Xin Zhao. I know, Lyric, you keep coming back to it. So it seems like this comes out as number 5. But at the very least, top esports going to flourish with their bottom lane first. We've got the Yuumi. We know the Sim is coming around the bend. And for game number 4 to stay in this series, to try and continue locking in their world spot today, they're going to rely on a Jackie Love Sivir here with Mark on Yuumi.
And when we look towards TN, like we said, his most played champion this split has been the Viego. His next 4 are the 4 that are currently banned. And then it's the Lee Sin. Then it's the Graves. He actually hasn't pulled out the Xin Zhao, being one of the junglers who haven't really gravitated towards that pick. Sejuani was the other thing that we highlighted. And the nice thing about bringing out a Sejuani as well is that it functions as a flex. Like, you bring it this early on, you can see what the enemy goes on their 3 and then their 4, and then you can decide, do we opt to put Sejuani jungle and then go with the solo lane options, or do we put it top lane and find a more interesting pick in the jungle role?
Already been done before on the red side. You know, I was wondering, I'm like, man, what did they substitute for that Lucian ban? The Azir gone again, and no, Scout's going to get it this time around. So EDG getting a priority pick that they have missed out on, Lyric, the whole series.
Yeah, it was banned in second rotation game 1. It's been banned in first rotation every game since by TS. Scout's performances on the Azir are just so crazy. Just pick now, giving them some nice zone control, some nice range to be able to play from, which when we talk about, like, contesting waves in mid, or, you know, posturing over control of vision for Dragon and Baron, range and picks like the Azir goes such a long way.
God, I'm just excited to see it. Scout's Azir is like no other. Getting rid of some of the bans, the targets here that can stop him in lane, Lyric.
There's a good one.
And then a very good one, LeBlanc.
The LeBlanc was the one I was looking at in terms of if you want to be able to contest that, right? You have the aggressive all-in set up, you look to pair it with a jungler, and then just constantly find that pressure. Now, I wonder what he'll look towards, because you always could go towards maybe a scaling option, right? Like, match it with something like a Victor. We've seen teams pick Galio into it and do this thing of just being like, okay, we're not really playing for lane. We accept losing the mid lane and playing more for sides. Knight, not really ever forced in a position where he had to look towards either option so far in the split, but now it's EDG coming into 4th pick and still waiting to see what top esports fully commit for their jungle, and looks like gonna just bring out another frontliner in the Renekton and also just give them that strong pressure that can, you know, give them some potency in the early game.
But Lyric, I just want to note one thing. Even though for the matchup in the mid lane might not be as good, Knight has Silas open. Knight Silas is like no other and has been in a game 4, game 5 position before. What do you think?
Well, it doesn't look like it matters what I think, because you called it. We saw a lot of people picking Silas into the Azir earlier on, like when Silas started coming back up into the meta, but it got punished so many times in this lane that teams started opting out of it. But if he does decide to pick it up, having that Emperor's Divide would do a lot. We highlighted some of the other picks he can go and kind of the avenues he has available to him. the Talia would be something that also gives him that same move potential, but it's Knight.
Smiling.
It's you, Knight. You know what you want to lock in.
You gotta be the hero. Knight, no. Yes. Yes, Knight. Mark, stop playing with the heart. Knight's being like, I want to play Silas. Coach is like, no, Talia would be better. And Knight says, no, I can take us to a game 5. That's what we want. So, Lyric, do EDG have a say in order to stop this?
I mean, for EDG, the Xin Zhao is just something we've been highlighting so much, is that next tier of champion that is able to come out. So I fully expect it to be locked in. I'm happy that we got the Knight Silas. When your match is on the line, why go towards something where you're like, maybe this works better here, when you can be like, no, this has been my best champion. You know, like, put me in, coach. Let me try and have this chance to be able to carry the game. So that's what we're going to get for TS. Once again, having a lot of ability to try and dive onto the back line of EDG, trying to get on top of these here, trying to get on top of the Zeri. Luckily for EDG, both of those champions are mobile. They have, the ability to dash away. The ultimate coming in from Xin Zhao and Lulu. Both are able to kind of keep them safe and make sure they're able to do their job. And then Flandre going to be the semblance of early pressure that they have. Though Scout will have Prio in mid as well.
Okay, well, good to note, because the laning phase so far from top esports, we've seen a lot of priority shifted into it. But the bottom lane, Lyric, I think, has been something that Viper and Mako have been pretty good in their laning phases too, or at least 3 times out of 3. Jackie Love and Mark, the M's get me. This bottom lane, Lyric, has suffered in game 1. Game 2, it evened out a little bit. Game 3, even though we saw Jackie Love with the early kill, Viper still ended out better. I'm going to get your take as we get into game, but for now, the audience needs to know what's up. EDG are 1 game away from locking in semifinals. They will not lock in a world spot, but they will deny top esports from doing so. And furthermore, if EDG can get to semifinals, then everyone's just going to be saying that EDG's back. They are going to be saying that EDG in best of 5s is a completely different beast, which I think that impression right now holds true for me, no matter the result of this game 4 or heck, even the series. EDG in a 5-man stack on the Rift are just insanity. And this 2021 World Champion has shown up massively against our first seed, considering they started in round 2, went through FPX, went through RNG. If they go through top esports without losing a best of 5, I'm going to put it right here that I feel like EDG are going to keep it going all the way to the finals. It's all down to this as we return to the Rift for game number 4 and top esports try and take us to the 5th and final game. With an invade, maybe they can do it. There's an ignite down as well. Exhaust, is over the wall. Double flash, everyone committing. Jed gonna die here, but to who? Auto attack, and Mark gets it in the end.
Yuumi taking it away. I was kind of scared for top esports there. Knight not landing the kind of dunk, but luckily Tien able to find the knock-up. They run him down and get that first kill. A lot of summoners were blown to make it happen. Both Knight and Jackie Love now not having flash. Could have to be a little bit more careful in terms of these early laning phases, and JJ potentially looking for ganks, and no exhaust for Mark. But still, nice little bit of gold going over the side of TS, and look, 1 kill for Mark, 4 assists across the board.
And Lyric, he's got a Dark Seal. You know, that's the start, dude. Carry Yuumi. Let's go full AP and see what happens. But look, to take it seriously, Mark has used one ability as we get the 2v2 on the bottom side of the brush. And Viper and Mako trying to establish themselves as well. But, Mark's got a Dark Seal. Don't underestimate this Yuumi at this point. And especially, as you said, everyone picking up an assist. And first blood going over to JJ, who had to burn both of his, the flash in the jungle as well.
Also kind of surprised to see both junglers pathing down towards this bottom half of the map. Especially top esports, having things like the Sejuani, and having Gnar versus the Renekton matchup. Gnar typically doing better in the isolated 1v1. Renekton typically wanting to pair it with ganks and getting jungler involved. Jeja, though, going for the single target clear, is going to just end up on the bottom half of the map first. Towards the end, going for much more of a full clear and kind of accepting like, hey, going to be a bit of a slower start coming out from me, and even looking towards some of his lanes, right? We said, hey, Silas going to get pushed in early on. Jackie Love and Mark looking at the same.
At least it's going to be spotted out, Tien in his clear, Lyric, because there was a ward on the bottom side. I believe it's still there as we've got a lens. Yep, lens ward popped out by Tien. So Top Esports know they're spotted here. The Scout and Jeje are going to play the aggressive path for Tien on this Sejuani lyric and try and get something back.
This is why I thought Tien would path towards the top side where he would have Cryo. Now going to be forced out of his jungler. Both Scout and Jeje doing a phenomenal job of making it so it's not safe. And it looks like Viper and Mako, I'm sorry, probably heavily trading down in that bot side now, doing the right thing, hovering over to that tri-brush just in case they tried to sneak through and get away. But we'll just end up being an advantage to the side of EDG.
Nice little takeaway when, you know, Jeje was first blooded. So for EDG, definitely not hurting them too much so far. As Lyric, I know you did the same thing as me. Mark, Mako, the M&M bottom lane, right? It's hard, you get confused.
It is, especially when like we have this match where all the players are so good, it's just kind of, ooh, wait.
We're okay, just
yeah, all these players so good that like when you're talking about one of them being good, like their name gets mixed with someone else because like, oh my god, both these guys are so good. Oh, I'm swooning.
I mean, I feel like Mark and Mako, you know, this split, well, Mark more assuredly is going to pause again. We're getting a bit of an invade, but Tien getting forced off of Raptors. Jeje just takes him, has a topside camp to go to as well, while Tien is just going to be picking up this Scuttle Crab. So Jeje not falling too far behind. In fact, it is actually Tien trying to claw back with the Scuttle. And Lyric, you were saying earlier on, Top Esports, strong side of the map, up in top side with Wayward on the Gnar, you know, Knight on this Silas as well, with the skirmishing power. And it feels like Tien is now taking your advice a little bit by threatening Jeje up here.
Tien definitely wanting to play around Knight, just building up the passive. And on top of, you know, Silas is a champion when you're going up against control mages. I mean, wanting to opt more into these all-ins, wanting to go for these short scraps. Not really doable so much in the isolated 1v1, but if your jungler gets involved in looking towards these 2v2s or just invading the enemy, definitely would be nice for them. Still making their way up to the levels required right now. Knight only sitting on level 4 right now. And Scout is completely fine if nothing is happening on the map. We know Azir, a pick that likes to get as many items under his belt as he can before a fight breaks out.
So talk me through early game a little bit more then. While we have the time, because I know you and I have been interrupted quite a lot this series. Been hard really to find the downtime. I want to ask you a little bit about how we progress in this game, especially for Top Esports. We have the Civic Yumi bottom lane, and we have a lot of setup for them as well, with the engage, the all-in, the layering of CC that can come through.
So for EDG, it seems like the plan is just targeting more down towards your bot side where you have Cryo, and not really focusing on like, hey, maybe we can try and kill the Gnar when he's in mini, because we do have both CC and Burst on top side. You can already see they're keeping up vision. Scap just got a ward on the Raptor camp, and since both mid and bot have been able to keep a push, you can probably just look to continuously invade the Sejuani and set him behind.
I feel like setting behind Tien is something that we've seen, you know, happen primarily in the game number 1. Tien not being able to do too much.
It was rough.
It was actually really rough to watch as well. Other side, Lyric, you know, Top Esports, talk about the success. Because I just want to know a little bit more about, you know, Knight being unleashed. He's on the Silas in a game 4 with his back against the wall. Like, surely it has to be about him, at least in the first 25 minutes, right?
Yeah, now that Knight's at level 6, and especially once Tien gets there, I mean, so many plays available for Tien. Make that play on mid, throw out the Glacial Prison. Knight definitely has the burst to be able to fall through if he stole away Nefer's Divine. Luckily, that does not connect from Jeje. But definitely going to be a pairing that we need to keep in mind. Knight plus Tien, Glacial Prison, followed through by Knight's Burst, especially pending on if he steals away that Emperor's Divide, which you'd expect in the laning 1v1.
Ooh, Abscond Duct actually. Yep, both ultis used out, but Scout travels furthest and against the wall, unfortunately. Wasn't able to do too much. Scout gets out, but burning his flash, Lyric, and there's the interaction. We see it quite clearly.
It takes a lot, right? You factor in, if Tien is level 6 at that point, then you have Glacial Prison coming through. He isn't able to flash out right away. The damage follows up. He is now dead. So they're able to guarantee that summoner for now. He'll come back to lane, and once Tien does hit that level 6 point, you'll now have CC, and he'll have no flash to be able to escape a play. So Top Esports doing a nice job of contesting the control that EDG have been garnering in the bottom side.
1k gold lead, by the way, from Top Esports. So in this first game, in this first part of the game, I should say, with the first blood going over to Mark. No stacks on the Dark Seal yet. That's the only disappointing factor. But hey, Mark's got time. He's just scaling, boys, so don't worry about it. But at the very least, you know, look at the mid lane. Knight has a 10 CS lead there against the Azir on Scout. You've got Wayward with the CS lead up on the top side too. As bot crashes this in, Jackie Love and Mark are able to keep up for the time being. Getting close to hitting down that first plate as well as They step on up this Viper, and get themselves a nice trade. But Lyric, hey, JJ's topside, and Wayward just ultied. Will he go in?
Nope, JJ not going to be able to find an avenue. Flandre using his dominance right away. Looks like they wanted to find an avenue to gank top first, since Herald is coming up in 5 seconds. If they could have gotten a kill on Wayward right, that opens up for such an easy Herald for EDG that potentially can't be contested, but still going to want to look to find the action. Knight now having blue buff, at least we don't have to worry about that lack of mana too much.
Just noted, it is a chain lash max as well here. 3 points I saw before. Placed down by Knight in the matchup. So kind of curious to watch and see how we change on that one, Lyric. But at the very least, you pulled out the Herald spawning in the top side. Dragon's still not taken, as both teams really haven't cared about it in this series. It's about that top side. It's now for the 2v2 on top of Jer. Knight and Tien are just threatening, while Scout stands by and pokes from afar, with Knight stealing away the Crescent Guard.
So we'll have that ulti available for fight breaks up. You're right. Neither team wanting to look up towards that Herald just yet. Again, I think EDG would have had they been able to get something done, but just heading down to pick up their bot camps. Both sides have their full bot side jungle left open, but TS can look for a chance to invade JJ.
There's deep wards there as well. They've been able to track him quite nicely here on the bottom side jungle. You can see on the minimap, walking in pretty aggressively. Tien just wants to steal. He's got smite. JJ doesn't. Yoink. And he takes it away quite easily. So JJ left empty-handed, while Tien now has his way to path up to the top side. So Lyric, a slower start to the early game, but again, just those small micro advantages as Wayward getting a trade onto Flandre.
You know, I want to say it makes sense, though. I feel like typically, not always, definitely wasn't true yesterday, but typically as the series progresses, like, the stakes get higher, right? Because it's like, okay, we're on match point now. We don't want to make a mistake. And typically you take a bit of a step back in terms of plays that, you know, plays that could work out, but maybe it's like a 60-40 or something along those lines. You're like, okay, we don't want to risk our series on this play going wrong.
I think top esports are the team, though. You know, out of any team, they'd be like, well, if there's a 55% chance, if there's that extra 5 on top of it, we will take it. And in front of Herald, maybe this is the play, Lyric.
They're going to go right now. The ultimate actually just timed out. It's not going to be available.
In. And look, JJ's in as well. That's a flash from Flandre on top of Knight, though. He's stunned up. Double stun with Jackie off on the wing. That Yumi ult massive here. The Scout's getting targeted down, and Wayward picks up the first kill. Low health bars as Viper can play around with that. And JJ comes in for the steal. Not much top esports can do. It's Scout dying for the Herald, but the Herald is denied from EDG.
TS able to find the kill. Feels like all that matters at the end of the day. We're just going to get back to lanes and probably back to just trading up in farm. And now, with no Herald, Dragon up on the map, you expect teams to kind of start switching that vision down towards that bottom side. We'll go straight into the replay to see how it all pans out. Sadly for Knight, now no ult available. So EDG see their time to fight. They try and send everyone in. Flandre jumping in on the back line. But you pointed out the ult able to come out from Mar. Doesn't even connect and pushing Jackie Love back. So they focus down the Azir with Wayward jumping over the wall and easily find that kill.
Scuttlecrab, the only victim of the Weaver's Wall. Sorry, the Emperor's Divide from Scout there as well. So nice little touch up at the end of the fight. As you said, the only thing that matters is the fact that top esports got the play, got the kill, considering that Rift Herald was denied in the end as well. 200 local gold, let's not forget, at 12:15 is, you know, we are giving more for the objective bounties, or rather the objectives themselves. Jackie Love might be walking into certain danger. 2v2 begins here, but not much more. And Lyric, you know, with that early gold as well, it went to Wayward, who was already doing pretty well in this Gnar matchup on the top side.
We highlighted that Gnar they're connected right. In the other side 1v1, you're kind of fine. You're trying to tether on your rage. It's JJ.
It's a double flash with the Crescent Guard as well. Teleport's coming in, and that's going to be Knight joining the party. Tien needs an Arctic Assault with ulti, but ulti's not available, and that might just give top esports a window to finally pick up this first dragon.
Top esports having multiple members down towards this bottom side. If EDG walk through there on jungle and try to commit, they're going to have to be careful for Tien's ultimate. EDG did trade jungle flash for AD carry, so now, you know, you could look to make return plays to try and take down Jackie Love, but for now, Jackie Love's going to be just fine.
He's getting close to getting that first plate in the bottom side as well. On top of the dragon, it would be a nice piece of gold here from top esports. Tien left by himself on the dragon, though. Mako and Viper Lyric are roaming. So he might need a bit of help. We might need a little bit of help. Mako's just running into him. He's got level 6. poke onto Tien, and I guess Knight is going to be providing the backup if need be.
I was going to say, you look at the mini-map, you see where Jija is. There's really no chance of them collapsing on this. It would be very easy for Jackie and Mark to match that roam over from bot side anytime. Speaking of bot side, Knight making his way down now, so Viper and Mako are going to have to be careful to back off.
Really nice dismount from Mark. Blocks away the Ultra Shock Laser. And that extra bit of damage coming through from Viper. Again, Carry Yumi is in progress. One stack on the Dark Seal, Lyric. It begins. It begins now, brother. Those Prowling projectiles are going to hurt like hell. And, you know, top esports in the early game, this is what we talked about at the start of the day. If you missed out on our opening segment, for TES, it really is about the lanes. You know, more so than EDG. We talk about the CSD. We're getting that in the top side. We were getting a bit of that in the mid lane here from Knight on this Silas. And even in the jungle now, Tien has started to take over Lyric. So we're kind of back to square one.
Especially for Knight, right? I mean, pick this matchup. We saw it was rough in those first few levels, but comes online and is able to take advantage of the fact when they find the kill to force the wave in and stay up in CS the whole time. Does have a wave to catch right now to try and even that out, but Scout now putting in a ton of pressure in this mid lane. TS are the team that have complete vision control, especially down towards the bottom half of the river. But you look at their control wards on both sides, you're going to have to see EDG, Mako linking up with JJ and starting to take some control. But oh, Scout, you're in trouble, buddy.
Yeah, he is. The turns there. It's a 3 versus 2. There's a good shuffle back, but guess what Knight just took up? He has the flash available, and Tien, if he can close the gap, but will not. There's the shifting sands out of Scout. Just burned his TP to get here, Lyric, as you're talking about, so now just has to back off yet again.
And that was the play we were setting up when we hit level 6, right? Of Sejuani, you just wait in the wings, jump in, throw the Glacial Prison, and then have the Silas able to follow up. Like back in the day when we'd always have Camille Sejuani in top lane and the lane gank would come through and it'd be hard to escape. Luckily for Scout, though, he did have Mako waiting in the wings to give him just enough durability with the Wild Growth for him to be able to get out of this scot-free, because there it is. Initial ult comes down. They're able to follow up with the ultimate from Yumi, but Scout still gets the Emperor's Divide up. Wild Growth comes out and manages to survive.
And Scout going back, not missing too much, it seems, in the mid wave, as he just had to walk this one out. But I'm kind of wondering what's next, Lyric, because those items are starting to come through. We've had a late dragon yet again, as per the story of this series, it feels like. Top esports still in with the lead, still with the first dragon. And we were talking a lot about these 6 points, but also first item now for Knight. He's level 11. Everfrost is available. Wayward getting close to his first item as well as an attempt to gank Top's top side. But we will have a lot of power coming through on Summoner's Rift. Feels like almost for both teams.
And we have Rift Herald coming up in about 50 seconds, so both teams going to be angling for that. But looks like Tien going to look for a player on bot first. But sadly, Super times out. They do have a red ward available, but now going to be spotted.
So as he walks away, the dismount comes through, and Mark just goes back to his 80 carry. I'm glad you pointed out at the timer of the Herald on the top side, but still, we're seeing everyone group up bot. Things are going down as we're actually going to get a 1v1 on the top side, but Flandre can't really take any further as Wayward just chases it down, autos him through. A bit of frustration for Flandre as he has to sit there and watch. I was more concerned about the minimap, Lyric, because top esports are really trying to amp up the pace of this fourth game. With all the pings going down, keep trying to revolve around Tien.
They're trying to find that pick onto Viper and Mako. They have not been able to set them down whatsoever so far. They've been playing respectfully. Jija constantly hovering his Wayward. Is he going to go for it?
Just auto him to death, it seems. Out of turret range, wait for the next wave. Flandre's going to back, and Wayward still has flash available. No Mega Gnar as it's just timed out. So Flandre will get out of his safety. He's got TP as well, guys, so won't be too hard for him to get back in. And Lyric, it's a 2-kill game. It's only 16, 17 minutes in. It's a slower one. But you and I were talking about 80 carries here. We were talking about some of the speed ups. And again, I just don't have time, do I? Tien's just back again, ready to slam his face with an ulti. He misses Mako, but Mako might have to burn a flash to get out alive. Wild Growth comes first, but Knight now spotted on the horizon. Is it too late for this Lulu? Knight might be saying yes with him. Skonda ducked in, down, will drop. And Knight picks up the kill. 3-0 for top esports. This time it's going to be 30 seconds in front of the Dragon as they find that pick in this game.
And both teams just prioritizing this bot side so heavily that this Herald's now been up for quite a while. And oh my god, JJ.
It's just walking the wrong way. Everfrost, very ulti. Spark's ready, Knight. And Spark for Knight, a 2-0 on the Silas Lyric. I am so glad he picked this.
And we're finally starting to see a bit of action come into the game. as both teams kind of just leaning around that bottom side. Wayward has been fine up in that top 1v1. We saw last time around him, able to chunk out Flandre enough to then start putting some damage onto that turret. Now with the kills coming bot, another turret picked up for TS, and it looks like it will be a dragon as well. So it's taken some time, but Top Esports finally getting a nice bit of a gold injection.
Time's okay when Civ is on your side. Let's look again, Lyric, because Tien started this with a miss.
And you could tell, like, Top Esports wanted this so bad. Both teams committing to play around the bot side. And then Final Chapter going to come out from Mark. Tien even following through with the flash. And they're like, no, we need action now. As on the bottom left hand of our screens, EDG be able to pick up that Rift Herald.
Yeah, they are. That's happening in live. JJ walked over a ward, by the way. Took the long way around and thought he was safe. So that's just a bummer here from the jungler of EDG. 2 kills over tonight. I mean, this is a big Silas. Almost with his second item picked up, Lyric. He's got a Dark Seal of his own. And the race is on for who can stack it the quickest here. The Top Esports are showing us a pretty solid early game. As we said, it's been slow. But let's be real. Sifa, Sejuani, Lyric. Jacula might be quiet, but he is giving time to succeed in this game too.
That's the thing, right? You kind of look at both sides. We have Zeri, Azir on one side. You have a Silas, a Sejuani, a sit like these champions that, as the game progresses, do incredibly well. So we'll find to take it at this more tempered pace and look for opportunities. And now Top Esports finally starting to push that momentum forward a little bit, aggressing into the enemy topside jungle. And oh, they're even committing TPs.
It's a double one, though. It's going to be defensive from EDG as Wayward has no Mega Narbar. Scout's running on in, wants a shuffle, but they're out of harm's reach as EDG still try to poke them down, but it's nothing really up on the top side. 30 seconds till powered, Lyric, simply to try and push this game forward, as you were saying.
For Top Esports, I think, hoping to find that pick on the Flandre, maybe coming enough members quick enough to we burst him out and just get the hell out of Dodge. But not able to do so that time with EDG already waiting. You're right, round 2!
Double down, Top Esports will not retreat. Wayward this time has the Mega Gnar, that could be the difference. The Scout's ulti is also available too, so Top Esports again will back off. But Lyric, I reckon give it 30 seconds and let's see if they come back.
These teams are just matching each other pound for pound wherever pressure is. JJ was on bot, Tien was on bot. Those plays come through. Same story up here in top lane. And it's fine when it's leaving JackeyLove in a place where he's able to get damage down onto this turret, but still nice gold traded back. And with no dragon up for, quite a while, Baron the only thing on the table. TS already a vision up towards that side, so they don't really need to care much. It feels like EDG now going to want to try and reclaim some of this territory, try and make sure no shenanigans.
And starts with the Herald, doesn't it? Because the Herald has been taken, the second one for EDG, but needs to be used. We're 20 minutes into the game, and JJ just looking for a place to use it, Lyrica. Because right now, EDG don't have any turrets. Breaking open the map feels like a nice step here in the game that's coming up.
Especially mid, you can already see pings coming down, but they're going up against the Sivir. They know it's quite hard to deal with the wave clear that she brings. So without a Herald, I'm going to have to wait for potentially you winning a fight to be able to get this one. So I like that they drop it just to get it low enough to where even if one member of it gets picked off right, EDG can commit man advantage to mid, get the damage down on this turret, and start piling this lead home. Which, speaking of leads, JackeyLove now, Phantom Dancer in pocket.
Oh, yeah.
So being at least a little bit ahead of Viper, who, he might have a second item on back as well.
He's close too, right? And you were saying before, like, EDG also have late game threats, and he does have the Phantom Dancer to answer your question. But you were mentioning that for EDG, like Azir, Zeri, even though there's Renekton on the team, like, there is a solid front line and a lot of tools for a Zeri/Azir pop-off fight.
And we're kind of in the same realm that we were last game in terms of formations, right? EDG definitely wanting their enemies right in front of them, happily fighting either in a lane or like right square in the middle of river, to where Scout and Viper put out damage from a safe distance, the rest of the members playing bodyguard, to where for TS, you're looking at what angles Wayward or Knight can come in on. If they can secure deep wards, choke EDG out of vision, and bring Knight in on those flanks, they'll be happy.
A bit of an engaged tried mid though. JackeyLove with a great spell shield timing, and you won't have to burn anything else after the fact. I like that you talked about that, because that means we've swapped around conditions as we get a pause. They say JackeyLove can't spell shield that quickly. What's going on? We'll find out what's happening here, folks. Don't worry. It's a game 4. Go get a cup of tea, Lyric. I've taken off the chef's jacket and...
I just love how the game is slow, and we come out to see Wayward pretty much sleeping.
He's like, dude, I'm playing Gnar again. It's not a Jax, it's not a Fiora. It's a Gnar. So we're on recline. Tissues to block out the eyes so that you the blinding lights don't come through. And ref's like, put your chair up. Put your chair up. We're about to go back in. That could be.
We also got to remember these are the guys feeling the pressure, right? These are the guys that are potentially one dramatic team fight loss into a Baron play.
True.
That like they're feeling the fire. Now EDG are pushing forward, and guess what? TS are now to playoffs, but they drop down to that lower bracket situation where then potentially, you're staring in the eyes of a possible elimination. So definitely them feeling pressure to where EDG are the team with that wiggle room.
It's crazy because if Top Esports were to lose the series, they still have themselves 130 points. They still look good to qualify for Worlds, but the fact it's not guaranteed, that's what matters here. They get to semifinals, they lock in top 3 Lyric, and they lock in their chance to go to Worlds yet again. But against EDG, right now, our 2021 World Champions want to make a strong return. We were saying if EDG were able to win this, it's confirmed that this team is back with the run that they've had now. We return to Summoner's Rift. Sorry for the pause, folks, but don't worry. We're getting some aggression to make up for it as here we go, engage over the wall! Even the Observer didn't see that coming. Tian just comes out of nowhere. It's a good shuffle, though, from Scout to buy the space. And Lyric, this is what you're talking about. Viper and Scout given breathing room to auto, but Top Esports don't walk into harm's way after getting the trade onto JJ.
Yeah, we saw the formation, right? EDG love that. You right in front of them, it's fine. But now Top Esports threatening another dive.
We've come back out of the pause and players like, man, we're awake now. Chair off the recline and Wayward is ready to body Flandre. You can see over the wall the threat is there as Lyric in a turret goes down 2. One massive push off the back of the pause, and Top Esports are almost 5,000 gold ahead.
5,000 gold ahead. They're staring into the eyes of being on sole point as it looked like they were taking Dragon at the same time. And you hit it. Observer not expecting this. I was not expecting this. JJ for sure did not see it coming. His ult comes through. But after the Emperor's Divide disengage happens, you can see Viper able to throw out that damage and kind of keep them at bay. Or Top Esports regroup. Get the solid push down that mid. Get 2 turrets. And there it is, sole point. So maybe now we're staring into the eyes of a Game 5? Am I cursing it?
I don't know. Well, look, maybe. But Mako is walking in blind
here.
We're
not cursing it.
What tells you Wild Growth's going to be used by Knight, at least taken away. He solo kills amidst the whole team. TP in from EDG as Knight has to deal with the rest of them. Trying to take out Viper on the way. He gets the Immortal Shield Bow off as the big shutdown for Viper. So worth so far, Lyric, if EDG can get out.
I'm surprised Top Esports even have the confidence to try to run some of these members down. They are going to be able to escape as we Oh no, maybe not.
Well, JJ is lucky enough. He crescent guards as well and manages to find his way out. Lyric, as you were saying, for EDG, I mean, look, Viper got the shutdown. The Zeri got the shutdown. Not too bad.
No, now, getting closer to those items coming online. Both AD carries trying to make it to that 3rd item mark. Be able to start breaking open this game. You can see Jackulov already incredibly close to that Infinity Edge coming online. And Top Esports have done a solid job at keeping up vision around this top side, with Baron being the only thing on the cards. EDG do have vision down of their own to spot out where they are, but with Top Esports having the Sivir that can just constantly clear waves, it just sets up for TS to easily turn to this river and start clearing out some of the information that EDG have.
That Infinity Edge so close with the components you see in Jackulov's inventory. Top Esports trying to take us to a Game 5. We didn't queue up Marksy. Yet again, I ask every time we approach a Game 5 in LPL. But obviously, he's not available. It's very late in NA, as you told us, Lyric. And for Top Esports to take us there, it's got to be a clean round out. Knight getting caught out before giving over a lot of gold, that's not the way. But maybe it'll be easier as he heads up towards the Banshee's Veil to enable him to be even more aggressive, as we've already seen. Now, Lyric, look at this setup from TS and walk me through the steps here for them to pull the trigger. Hang on.
QR, there we go.
Lyric, nicely done. You should maybe be the jungler coming up next as well. Tien just launches.
I feel like you don't have to see that happen to be like, okay, they're waiting around a wall. They have a Sejuani Q into the R. Try and find that pick. Not able to do so.
Okay, well, Jackulov steps in pretty deep. Flandre trying to defend top side. Wave a bit far away. You look at mid as EDG have to use Viper to defend. So right now, Lyric, it looks like Top Esports are trying to pull EDG all across the map thin.
Trying to spread them apart because they do have that Gnar, who, even more so now, right, able to do well in that side. Heck, both Sylas and Gnar, champions that are fine, that are comfortable, that enjoy the side lane,
Yeah.
Whereas here, I mean, you can clear and you have safety because, right, you have that mobility, you can clear from a range, but still, you yourself cannot really aggressively push out waves. Kind of same story with the Renekton. You can maybe get away just fine, but you know you're not going to be able to compete in that 1v1. So TS have been doing a nice job of using the side lane pressure they have to pull apart that composition from EDG, because that's what opens up the angles we were talking about for Knight to be able to find his way in on a backline, or for Wayward to do the same.
Collapse on in, crunch time for top esports as well in those fights. And Lyric, a minute 45 until we get to the sole point that EDG have to fight anyway. In the open space, well, will top esports give it to them? Because in a closed space, top esports can take a fight, and even here, running at EDG, they have to back away. Lyric, it's an infinity edge now for Jackie Love, by the way. Viper went LDR, so these ricochets, the cameraman spotting out that they are going to be the focus.
And Jackie Love, like, having the ability to go towards that, to where for Viper, you look on the opposing side, right? Wayward, TN, both these guys going to be incredibly tanky. Knight also having the Zanyas, so I think good call from Viper to try to maximize the damage, just because he knows, you know, a lot of times he's going to be hitting front line. It isn't just going to be like a duel between him and Jackie Love on the opposing side.
So much of the front line too as well. EDG moving towards river. A minute to go as top esports still stand strong towards mid. 5 of EDG are here. Not sure if they're spotting out Flandre for now, but look at Wayward, look at Scout. Or rather, Knight coming in for the angles. Jedge has already popped the ulti, but Knight's here, Wayward's here as well. They just need a Mega Nara. Knight has an ulti, uses it early, no! EDG stands strong for now, as Knight had the opportunity to blast into a Game 5, but now he's hijacked down as Wayward is going into Mega Nara. This is Scrappy. They're trying to turn on him. Knight comes in for the flank. Everfrost is good value. He's going to buy time. Goes Goblin Viper's down. The god of EDG is dead. Jackie Love flashes forward into Scout. This Shiver is throwing his boomerang, and he don't even need it back.
And for top esports now, Dragon coming up in 10 seconds, Baron on the table. It looks like they're even going to go for both, keeping Wayward a Dragon, moving the other members up to the Baron, knowing it's very possible that EDG look to come contest. But EDG, it wouldn't surprise you if they just start making their way down towards Drake and preventing Wayward from doing this.
How quickly is it going down, though? Jeje moving in with a smite. He's buying time. He's going to take the 1v1, though. Jeje jumps in with a TP to help out EDG's jungle. But look at Wayward with Knight on the wing. Scout might have joined in, but that's a Mega Nara, and you don't mess with Mega Nara while the rest of top esports are at the Baron. Wayward going in himself. He's so confident, Lyric.
I love him as well. Just constantly, like, slowly walking forward, kind of taunting them right in their faces. And now, gonna try and get here in time to be able to contest this Drake. And we got the Hex Gates on the Rift, so you know they'll be able to get here in time, and EDG won't be able to sneak this one away, as Wayward making his way back as well.
Not gonna in with the Hex Gate on the enemy side. Flandre's there as well. Knight spots him out. All members of EDG here as Knight steals away the Crescent Guard. Wayward's joined in, but there's no Mega Nara. Keep note of that as EDG try to deny the soul, but for top esports, they turn for the fight to take us to a game number 5. Knight now on top of Flandre, trying to carry on his famous Silas. Jeje's down. No jungler. That's free soul as Jackie Love returns to the conversation. We've been talking up Viper, but now it's Jackie's turn once again.
Jackie Love on the Sivir is able to show up, and now for TS, they got the Baron, they got the Soul, they can push down the base, they can look to bring us to that Game 5.
Game 5 against our first seed versus our world champions. Top esports wanting that world seed badly. You have seen EDG run through the bracket, but with the debut today, top esports show us that first seed demands respect. In the battle of gods in the bottom lane, we start talking about Jackie again. And that Game 5 is going to show up or show out as we round out top esports versus EDG.
They are now one singular game away from guaranteeing their spot at Worlds. All they need to do, show up for 30 more minutes, and they make, you know, a dream a reality. You pointed it out, only been to Worlds in 2020. Like, had a respectable showing, making it up to top 4, but a team like TS